Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today here for the second edition of the PASS Community Webinar Series. This is Amanda Martin, Community Manager for PASS, and I'm very pleased to be joined by my colleagues, Terrence O'Shea, Communication Strategist, and Jeremy Alexander, Marketing Coordinator from the PASS Marketing Team. Today, they will be covering social media fundamentals on how to apply those principles towards promoting your community events. So whether you're a local group leader, virtual group leader, or a SQL Saturday organizer, we really hope that this content will be beneficial for you today. We will be recording the session and sharing out the link and the slides after the fact, so you don't need to worry about that. And we will also plan to leave about 10 minutes or so at the end to allow time for Q&A. So if you have questions, please do try to save them for the end, as we have a lot of great content to go through. And without further ado, I will go ahead and hand it over to Terrence.
Thank you for the awesome introduction, Amanda, and thank you to everybody for joining us today. As Amanda mentioned, my name is Terrence O'Shea, and I also have Jeremy Alexander here with me today. We're both on the PASS Marketing Team, and we're going to be going over the social media fundamentals and how to leverage them to promote your event. During this webinar, we'll be going over getting started, an overview of social media, and some of the key best practices you can begin using to promote your events, and tools to use, an introduction to Hootsuite, and tips for drafting, scheduling, and publishing your posts. So let's kick things off by taking a look at the benefits and use cases for different social media platforms. Social media is a powerful and cost-effective tool for communicating with your target audiences, sharing information, and creating long-lasting connections. Including social media in your communication strategy is necessary for three key reasons. To engage your existing audience, these are your fans and the people most interested in the content you have to offer. So take the time to understand the types of content that captures their interest and keeps them engaged. Social media also helps you to increase your reach and grow your audience. So once you've established a core group of followers, it's time to reach new audiences. The goal here is to increase the visibility and optimization of your content. Posting content that your followers are likely to engage with and share definitely helps, but you can further increase your reach by tagging relevant Twitter handles or users and hashtags. This helps your posts get noticed by key influencers, and it makes it easier for users to find your amazing content. For anybody who's not familiar with the difference between handles and hashtags, a handle is a user's Twitter name preceded by an @ sign. If you use a handle at the beginning of your post, you are tweeting directly to that person. Hashtags are letters, numbers, words, or groups of words with no spaces in between, preceded by a hashtag. For example, hashtag SQL Pass or hashtag SQL Saturday. This turns them into searchable terms that people use to share an interest or a topic. If you haven't created a hashtag unique to your group yet, I definitely recommend doing so. This will make it easier for your audience to find your content. Sites like hashtagify.me can suggest the most popular and trending hashtags to include in your posts. And lastly, social media helps generate interest in your events. The visibility you gain through social media content will help you drive awareness and ultimately attendance at your event. So now that you know why it's important to use social media, let's look at the use cases and strengths for each social media platform. So here you'll see on my slide, I have an overly simplified example of how each platform is used. And I'm sure most of you are like me and thinking donuts. So let's go into the differences between each platform. So Facebook, this is mainly geared towards sharing news and entertainment. It can also be used for sharing video content, particularly live streaming. It's important to note that this platform drives more website referral traffic than any other social media channel. According to Search Engine Journal, it's at 62%. Twitter is used for a news and conversation tool. Retweeting and curation are encouraged, and live streaming video is also popular. Twitter has the second highest website referral traffic at 22%, also according to the Search Engine Journal. This is also primarily where I'd recommend employing the use of hashtags and handle tagging. While this functionality exists on other platforms, it originated and was perfected by Twitter. Instagram, this is a highly visual network for static images and short videos. This platform is not only optimal for driving website or blog traffic, this platform is not optimal for driving website or blog traffic, as links can only be included in the account description. This is another platform where you can benefit from the use of hashtags. And lastly, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is aimed at professional networking. This platform is typically used for sharing industry articles and more general professional development content. So now that you know the benefits of each platform, you can ask yourself these questions. Firstly, what are you trying to achieve on social media? Start by thinking broader objectives. Are you trying to increase awareness or grow your audience? Then consider tactical aims like increasing website traffic, driving attendance, etc. Secondly, can a platform help you achieve your goals? If increasing website traffic is your primary goal, a platform like Instagram might not be your best choice. Weigh objectives against strengths on each platform. And lastly, would your audience expect you to be on a given platform? If other similar groups are using a platform, that's a strong indicator that you have a potential audience on that network. It's worth investing in having a presence there. It's important to keep in mind that what works on one network might not work on another. So have a plan for these types of content, for the types of content that you'll be sharing on each platform. You can gauge follower interest in your posts by measuring engagement. All of the social media platforms mentioned today have built-in analytics that can tell you which content performs best. For more in-depth reporting capabilities, you can look at using third-party social media tools like Hootsuite, which we'll be going into more detail later. So whether you're starting out in social media or you've been promoting your events for some time, it's important that you understand and establish your social media voice and tone. Are you serious, humorous, lighthearted, or straight to the point? What makes your group or event stand out from the others? How does your audience typically converse with one another? Posting regularly is fantastic, but the voice you use and the content you post must resonate with your target audience. Establish a voice and tone that's familiar to your audience and encourages them to interact with you. Some factors to consider when identifying your voice and tone or establishing your voice and tone are persona. Your group's unique qualities make your persona special, and these should be a pillar of developing your voice. Community. Listening can reveal how your community speaks and can help you speak more naturally with them and to them. Use their language and meet them on their terms. Conversation. Personality and authenticity are key here. What do you want to add to the conversation? As you think about what you can offer, you'll start to see a better picture of where your voice might fit in. All of us in the data industry know that a picture paints 1,000 words. As attention spans become shorter and shorter, the focus has shifted from written social media to visual social media. Social media users are more drawn to visual content than ever before. So by using a variety of effective, dynamic imagery, you can make an immediate impact and stand out from the noise. An important factor here is to use the correct image sizes for the posts on each platform. So here you'll see I have displayed the 2019 recommended image sizes as provided by Sprout Social. Something to note here is that social media images do display differently across devices, so I'd recommend leaving some bleed space in the outer third of the image just to ensure that the key elements of your images aren't cut off. While what you post is important, when you post also has an impact on what your audience engages with. Knowing the optimal times to post gives you a better chance of having your content seen by your target audience. Displayed here are the recommended posting times for each social media platform. Of course, every audience behaves differently, so make sure to test and check the data to see which times work best for you. Calendars fill up quickly, and staying on top of social media can be difficult when juggling timelines. To help with this and to ensure that you are getting the optimal amount of social media exposure for your events, I'd recommend putting together a plan for the type of content you will be sharing and scheduling your posts in advance. When should you start promoting your event? Who do you want to see your posts? What is it about your event that will make your audience want to attend? How often should you post? These are all factors to consider when putting your plan into action. Third-party tools like Hootsuite can help with your planning and scheduling. So with that, I'll now pass you over to Jeremy, who will be giving you an overview of how that platform works.
Thanks so much for the introduction there, Terrence. Hi, my name is Jeremy Alexander. I'm the marketing coordinator at Pass HQ, and I'm going to be giving you a brief introduction to Hootsuite. Just some things to keep in mind. We only have a limited amount of time, so I will be moving a little quickly, but the slides and recordings will be made available after. So there's lots of great chances to learn this content. So just kicking us off here. Just a second, I'm just going to hop in my slide. Hootsuite is here to help you plan and organize your social media. It allows you to schedule posts in advance, combines your news feeds from each of your social media accounts into one convenient view, offers analytic insights and moderate support, and even has additional applications and integrations to increase efficiency of this tool. Again, keep in mind, while Hootsuite is a great tool that we utilize, there are a lot of other amazing options out there. So explore what works best for you. So for today in our demo, I'm going to show you how to create your Hootsuite account, add your social media networks into Hootsuite, schedule a post, and review, edit, or delete drafted or scheduled posts. One important detail to note is in the demo, I'm going to be having you go to try our free limited plan. There are other options listed above, but with them, they do require payment information, and I figure for the sake of our demo, inputting credit card information might be a little too tedious on your end. So just to take us to our next slide there, you'll see a QR code in the bottom left of the screen. Going to there, it would be great if you want to keep track of it for your notes later. Most cameras have a built-in QR integration now on them, which is really amazing on phones. But if you want to follow along in browser, just visit hootsuite.com, or feel free to follow along through the slides here. So with that in mind, I'll just give everyone a second to get that information and join at hootsuite.com or follow along through the slides. And then I'm going to head over to the browser. So it's going to take us to this page here, and the first thing that you'll want to know is that you'll want to hit Compare Plans. Once you hit Compare Plans, you're going to have it load, and you're going to scroll down to the bottom and select Sign Up Now in there. Just for the sake of the demo, I'm not going to go through the account creation because I already have done that. I'm going to give everyone a minute to do it just while I secure my own login information from having already done this. Also, just keep in mind, questions I will be taking at the end of the webinar. So just in case anyone has anything pop up, I'm happy to go back to the demo and show you then, just in case I'm moving a little too quick or something's unclear. So keeping that in mind, this is what the initial login looks like when you do go into Hootsuite. With it, you'll see on the left here, this is your navigational bar. The navigational bar shows streams, publisher, analytics, assignments, and app directory. Something to note is streams are really handy to combine your social media views into one, but we will not be going into them today. We're going to be primarily focusing on content through the publisher tool. Another important thing to note is the WISE guide that is an automatic pop-up will give you a tutorial on everything you need to know of getting introduced to Hootsuite. But seeing as you're in this webinar and I'm giving you a guide, I'll be doing it myself. But when you're going on your own, it is a great tool to utilize. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our profile picture in the top right corner and go down to Manage Social Networks. Manage Social Networks is where we're going to add our networks through. So if we scroll down, we see at the bottom here, private social networks are listed. I've added a Facebook and Instagram account already for our demo, and I'm going to show you how to add your own Twitter account now. So what you select is the plus icon next to private network, and you go to Twitter in the tab pane, or you can select any of the other ones you would want to be using, but we're adding Twitter now. You select Connect with Twitter, and a pop-up window will occur, and it will ask for your sign-in information. Feel free to follow this account on Twitter, but we won't be very active on it outside of this demo. So going back in, we can now see that it has been added to our account, which is super handy there. And with it, we see that there are 3 icons next to our profile pictures. Next to our profile pictures, the Facebook icon is denoted by a blue flag. Instagram icon is denoted by a small camera, and the Twitter icon is denoted by a small bird there. It comes in handy later when we're dealing with scheduling content, but just keeping in mind that those symbols do represent what platform you are posting to. So jumping back towards the left toolbar, I'm going to take you back to the stream view just to show you that once more. We're going to close out of the WISE guide. And then in this view, how we're going to be generating content, whereas we're actually going to go to the new post option in the top right corner with that. So when you select the new post option, it actually opens up a window within your window. And it's really great because like a regular browser window, you can minimize, look around, reference details, close out of it, whatever's convenient for you, but it is super handy for the fact that it is a display within the display. When you select post to, it will have available the networks that you link to your account that you can put the content on. I'll select Twitter for the sake of this, just so we can take a quick look at that. And the second you select the network you want to post to, you'll notice immediately the character limit is shown next to it and a preview plane is generated. While Twitter is most known for its 280 character limit, formerly 140, other platforms do also have character limits, which will be displayed here, although you probably won't be reaching them, seeing as they're well over 1,000. So for example, if I were to write, attend my hashtag SQL Saturday event, you'll notice in the preview plane that it's now visible here on the right side. When you scroll down, you can open up the media library from Hootsuite to add from their collection of stock photos. For this, I'll just use an example of this lovely flower here. Not really related to the SQL Saturday post. I'd recommend that you probably use one of the brand library assets that we provided to you. And you'll see that it's generated in there immediately. It froze for a bit, so it actually put 4 in. And to do that, to back down to 1, you can just select the small X, and you'll notice the media on the right altering to appear with the current number of photos selected. Now that we have the image details added in, we can choose to post this content now, eliminating the need to post through Twitter or through Facebook, or we can go in and select schedule for later. This is where the real appeal of Hootsuite comes in, where in the top view here, we select what day we would like to post on a calendar. You can do it as far out as you like, and then the time underneath it. Something to note is that it shows your time zone here for you underneath it. Just make sure it lines up with where you will be posting, although it is automatically detected when you sign up for Hootsuite. So with that in mind, I can now choose to schedule this post to be deployed, or I can select Save Draft. When I select Save Draft, it puts it into our draft queue and schedule as to be scheduled being deployed. The main difference between drafts and scheduled posts is that scheduled posts will deploy without any action needing to be taken, and drafts require you to push them into a scheduled post in order to deploy. So with that, we'll go into our publisher view, and now we can get a brief overview of what the planner looks like. The planner is really handy because it shows you in a calendar and time-based view what content is going out and a preview of the content. It also denotes a small little paper icon for drafts and a calendar icon for scheduled posts. While this is very handy, I find that sometimes it's easy to mix the two up, so I work within the content plane. The content plane shows, separated on the side here, drafts and scheduled posts. We don't really utilize these other features. They're more for team-based stuff. I don't think they'll really be super relevant for anyone, but if anyone would like me to go into detail on those later in the question portion, please let me know. So going through the draft queue here, we can see a preview of each of our posts, when they are scheduled to go out, if a time has been set to do so, and when they were added into the system. So this is super handy because it lets you see them all laid out and have a good feel of what you have going out in the future that's not quite finalized yet. Clicking into the schedule tab, we'll notice that immediately it has 5 out of 30 messages scheduled appear there. With that, it's because the free version of Hootsuite only allows you to schedule 30 messages at a time. But the convenient thing about the drafts feature, as we just went into, it allows you to save drafts that you will then push into the queue should you have more than 30 scheduled at once. So really, it does help you really bypass that roadblock quite nicely. Looking through our queue here, we can see that the little flag denotes the Facebook page there, and that it's separated by time in which it's going out and day in the week in which it's set to deploy. When we click on the small edit icon here, it will allow us to go back and edit the post as if we were originally creating it and save our edits when we want them to be set to go live. We can also choose to hit delete to immediately remove the post out of the queue, making it pretty easy for you to not have to leave this set view in the moving around of content. You can also select multiple posts to delete, export, whatever you should choose, and it's a super handy feature. So with that, just gonna hop back to my slides and just do a quick capstone over what we just went on together. Some important stuff to remember in Hootsuite is the new post feature is how we generate the majority of our content, although you are able to do so through the deploying publisher tool there. The WISE guide is incredibly helpful when you're first starting out in Hootsuite, and I highly recommend it. It will offer integrated support and actually show you where to click in the web page as you do it. It's very handy. The preview pane, while incredibly useful, is not always 100% accurate as to how the post will be displayed on that social media platform. So it is important that you are mindful of that. This is where you input the text region for your posts, and the media available here you can remove by hitting an X should you choose to replace the image or edit the image or add another image. It's really your choice. Social media platforms you are posting the content to are shown on the top bar here, and the character limit remaining is shown there. Going down here, we'll notice the calendar view where we select the day in which we want to send, the time in which we want to send, and whether or not we want to post now, save as a draft, or schedule for later. When we go into the publisher view on the content tab, we'll notice that drafts and schedules are split from one another. They're divided by day in which they are sent, and the type of platform, as you can see, is denoted by the small little image of the bird for Twitter, the flag for Facebook, and the in for LinkedIn. So it lets you see not only what time they're deploying at, what day they're deploying on, but also what network they're deploying to, because in many cases we'll post to 2 separate platforms at the same time, so we can hit both of those audiences, and this lets us see where we're sending those messages to. So with that, just again, keep in mind that Hootsuite, while it is the tool that we utilize, and I highly recommend it, there are so many options out there, and find what works best for you, because ultimately you'll be the one generating your content and you want to find what works best for you. That concludes the scripted part of our webinar here. We're actually going to be moving into a brief Q&A, and yeah, take it away.